What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about what is the best optic for home defense. And when we're talking about home defense, obviously that depends on the number one thing. The biggest factor will be, what's your home like? Do you live in an RV? Do you live in a trailer? Do you live in a giant mansion? Or do you live in a regular apartment? You live in a big house? Is there hallways? There's so many different things that get into it. But anyways, so let's get into it. So when it comes to your optic, I like to say there's a few things that are mandatory. Number one, I say get a good quality optic. And the reason you want to get a good quality optic is a couple things. So you're going to have better battery life, more reliability, ruggedness / durability. You want to make sure that if this is for home defense, that this optic doesn't go out because you cheaped out on it. And sometimes it doesn't require an expensive optic to have good function. For example, I have this optic here, it's about $339. And this optic here, very, very different in price. Another thing when it comes to optics I like to forget about is, do you have astigmatism? Astigmatism causes a weird kind of flash when you're looking at. The thing with astigmatism, you're gonna have to go in and see for yourself for a lot of it. But I think that's good for almost any optic though. Anyway, so now the type of optic. So we have three types here. Right here we have a closed emitter, an open emitter, and an LPVO. I almost always say closed emitter is best. For me, when I have these two options, I have a very, very good closed emitter here. So as you guys can see, safe and clear. So it's a very small one. You know, it's easy for me to see. It's not too bad, but the problem is, you know, it's a small window. By small window, but if anyone gets confused how it's explained, the piece of glass, you know what I mean, it's small look through, versus something like this big guy here, safe and clear. So now we can look at the huge difference in red dot sizes to see. And it also really just depends on how comfortable you are with the red dot. I mean, with LPVOs, you know, there's a large window, but I think I spoke about it in my last video. I just don't like the eye relief kind of factor. So I'm like trying to look through every time, and there's always that kind of black like crescent moon coming on the side, because I'm not aligned properly. But that can also come with practice. And the main reason I don't use the LPVO, it's heavy. It's just not my thing. You have to find one you're comfortable with. And then another thing that I like to tell everybody about, it's really important to make sure you get an optic, if it's a red dot at least, that has multiple options for reticles. And one thing I actually didn't mention also, before we move on too far with the astigmatism thing, if you have astigmatism, try green dots. Green dots are awesome. Green dots have helped me use brands of red dots I always wanted to try, and have been known to be amazing. And it works because for some reason, you know, I can find the information, the science of it later. Green's a lot easier on the eyes of people with astigmatism. Green's kind of easier in general for some people. But anyways, so multiple options. So at least with both these pistols, I have the dot option, I have the donut option, and I have the donut with the dot option. And it makes a huge difference whenever I'm looking for that dot, you know. But that's the problem, is like, you know, we train so often, we dry fire, and you'll learn about what you really want. And I learned that I need a large window. I need a large window, and I need the donut. Donut with the dot, instant inquiring with this guy. Instantly can see it. I can even put it down low, and instantly I could see it. But with this guy, very, very beautiful red dot. A little harder to find though, and it's just not as effective for me. I prefer this one so much more. And it's just so easy to see. But yeah, guys. So that's what I would sum up with red dots / optics. Excuse me, because this is all about all optics with home defense. Is make sure you have the right tool for the right job. Make sure you get a decent tool. Watch out for astigmatism. remember the open emitter, the different types of red dots that would be helpful to you. If you're asking me personally, make sure your red dot can co-witness with your irons, because God forbid your red dot fails. How are you aiming? A lot of people, I recommend practice point shooting, which is still, it's not bad. It's always good to practice it, but it is really important to have some good irons that co-witness decently. And this one, they both co-witness perfectly. And then if I could finish off this video with one last thing, my personal 3 going down to the best to the, not worst, but best to the least, the most and least that I would use personally, I will go this 510C number 1. The 510C is a great optic. Then the Sig Romeo 4S, a nice little red dot, and the LPVO. But like I said, this I would only use for home defense due to being an open emitter. You can get dust in it and stuff like that. So it's kind of, there is trade-offs to it. This guy you can use everywhere. It's awesome. And this guy, you can even use it for hunting if you really want to have an AR-10. But yeah, you guys take care. This is Tech Mix. You guys have a good one.